All right. Yes, yes, y'all. That's what we used to say back in the day. Early days of hip hop, when hip hop was innocent, not folks gang banging and carrying on. Yes, yes, y'all. Y'all to the beach, y'all. So I'm here. All is well. Everything is good. Waiting for some peoples. And we're going to get y'all to weigh in a minute. Then we're going to roll with some important stuff today. Mostly aimed at the youngsters. You know? And hopefully some good information for anybody that's looking to augment their ability to offer more services to their clientele. So I will wait for some people to show up, and we're going to start out with a some housekeeping with regards to a question I was asked. I want to get that out of the way first before I get into the topic of the day. But there was a very important question that someone asked me that I want to address. So hopefully they will be in attendance. So let's see what's happening on this side. And go here. Got one viewer. I don't know who the one viewer is, but say hello so I can say hello back. All right. Let's go, people. We went from 1 to 0 just like that. Let's go, people. All right. Here we are. Trustee. Whoa. Surgery. What's up, man? Jesus, hope it wasn't serious, man. You know, I have another family member that's recuperating from surgery as well. And I know that's not a easy circumstance. I hope you're on the mend quite well, you know. But, you know, I'll keep you in my prayers, my brother, you know. And try not to do too much too soon. And hopefully, like I said, with God's help, it's not too serious. But I'm glad that you were able to put your head out here and say hello. You know, it's good to see you, even if it's in a virtual way, if, as they say, you know. But I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad that you know, you're on the mend. So other than that, what's been happening? You know, people, tell me what's up in your world, what you're working on, if you're working on anything, what's new, you know, anything you heard interesting that we could probably discuss for a minute before I get into the topic of the day. And I am hoping that Smitty Soul is in the house. I hope he shows up because he had a very important question. And there's something that I want to address from a just workflow perspective that you know sometimes you feel the same questions asked in different ways that I wanted to talk about. Mr. Pirate Brain, what's up, man? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, listen, this is gonna be some good stuff, man. I'm, you know, changing up a bit. A couple of live streams ago, I was asking people for ideas. So in between this time of transition for me, I'm going to be doing more live streaming because, I mean, listen, how many products can you review? How many times can you give an opinion about something before it becomes just a matter of opinion? And we're going to get into it, you know. But let's hang out for a second and answer Smitty Soul's question with regards to Pro Tools HD and Carbon. You know. Yeah. So what's up, Mr. Pirate Brain? What's going on? How you doing? All right. So let's listen. A brother by the name of Smitty Soul asked a question on the reasons for using Pro Tools HD and why some interfaces are expensive. That video, or the live stream, I think it was. And his question was this: can you do a video about the quality of wait, I'm gonna make sure I got the right one. Yeah, I asked him. Okay, can you do a video about the quality of Avid Carbon versus the IO 192? I have to know if it's a suitable replacement for Pro Tools HD. Now, I'm gonna answer his question like this in two ways. Most of you all know I've worked in HD and I maintained using HD8 for the longest. Why? Because I look at the usage of equipment as a tool, period. Nothing more, nothing less than that. But to compare Carbon, or Avid's Carbon to the 192, I feel like this. Clocking technology has come a long, long, long way. So it's really not fair to compare the two on a technical level. However, if you're looking for a better clocking source built into the interface, then yes, the Avid's Carbon is definitely by far probably a better interface to use with or to replace your 192. For me, it gets down to workflow, man. I don't have time to keep giving Avid money for every new thing that comes out. Some people, I have a friend of mine that does that. I mean, he's a professional in the business, and in some respects he can afford to, but I'm not going to keep giving Avid money, period. Because for me, when the AES, or the Audio Engineering Society, changes the technical requirement for delivery to a spec that my equipment can't deliver, then it's time to change. When the professional spec turns into something like, okay, well, I have to deliver files at 384K to clients at 384K files at 44.1 to a client, that's a different story, But for right now, everything is still deliverable at 192, 96, and 48. So when 384 becomes the standard, then it's time to change, but not minutes before, man. Not minutes before. Because, at some point, man, you're just going to keep spending money. You making these people rich. Meanwhile, your pockets is light. And it becomes expensive at the pro level. Ask all those people in the 90s that went out and bought those SSLs. $1 million console. And you have that note you got to pay every month. It's not cheap, So I am glad. Reggie Dillard, what's up, brother? Touchstone, what's up, man? Yes, sir. Good to see you, man. Avid is the Netflix of audio. Yeah, man. They dictate. Rightfully. Listen, I'm not gonna take nothing away from that company. They've been in the game a long time. I remember when Sound Tools was their first product, DigiDesign Sound Tools. And I'm going way back. I was in high school. That's over 40 years ago, man. I was in high school at the time. So, when you carved out your spot, you carved out your spot. Nobody can say nothing to you about that. But at the same time, you got to realize you're spending a lot of money, to maintain step. Now, if you're making money on the tools you're buying, different story. But when you're between jobs and you still have that lease, that note to pay, then you got to think about how your money is being spent on the balance sheet. You have to look at it like that. So, to answer your question, the 192 the carbon is a valid replacement if uh, you want a better clocking source. Beyond that, man, keep your money in your pocket if you can, because it's not cheap, you know. So hope that helps. And let's get into the topic of the day. I'm getting a little fancy. Got my iPad here to keep me on point. And if there's one lesson that this pandemic has taught us, it's doing just one thing, or having one revenue stream can be dangerous and detrimental to a pro. Even if it's this, if audio is your side hustle, and you are making, like, say, maybe a couple of $100 a week, and then suddenly up comes a pandemic that forces you now to forced you out of work, and has taken away that income. You have to really begin to A, think outside the box, B, start driving for Uber, And I'm not trying to be funny, I'm trying to be real, because many people might have audio as a side hustle. They may have their main gig. I did for many years. Worked at night. I had kids. I had a day job. So if that money is suddenly taken away from you, what do you do? What do you do? There's no shortage of kids that come through that I meet on the regular that want to do the same exact thing: mixing, mastering. I want to mix, I want to master, it's like, you need to knock it off. Okay, or you need to really think outside the box. I'll give you an example. I came in touch with a young man that I had, interacted with a long, long time ago, at least 10 years ago, when he was just getting out of high school. And he was like, oh, man, I want to go to school for my music degree. And I'm like, oh, that's great. You really should. I said, but what do you want to do beyond that? He said, I want to go to Five Towns, which is a college out in Long Island, and I want to learn how to, I want to be an audio engineer. So I'm like, okay. I said, what I would suggest as an occupation, that once you graduate, look for a job in video, post-production, because post houses stay busy and the paycheck is big, or go into radio production, because they need people to cut stingers, and as well as short 30-second commercials. They need people. He did neither. Fast forward to now, he is 30, never went to school, never followed through. I can respect anyone who has a goal, a dream, and a desire to do a thing. But no one wants to go into a battle, and you're in the competition in audio is stiff. Everybody with their laptop is mixing and mastering. No one wants to go into the battle with insufficient ammo. And that's what has always been my driving force, even as a business person. My mission statement says, I never jump with one parachute. And even someone who skydives jumps with two. And that's the mentality one should always maintain, only because the competition is fierce. When the utility company come for your light bill, they ain't interested in the fact that you were between jobs. That's a fact. When your kids are hungry, they're not interested in the fact that, dad can't provide for me. That's a fact. When it's cold and Junior need a coat, you ain't got it because you between jobs, because all you want to do is mix and master. That's whack, and kids don't get it. It's your job to provide for your family, so why not have more than one option available to you? There are many reasons, and I'm gonna go through a whole bunch of them, and I'm hoping for those of you who are here, and this is my heart talking now. Share this with anyone that you come in contact with that that has a desire to work in this business. Because again, I'm not talking about nothing I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about lived experience, things I've seen with my own two eyes and have gone through. So I'm sharing today what I hope will help enlighten someone to the point where it's like, you know what? I need that second parachute. You know what? Maybe I should venture off or get outside of my mixing and mastering comfort zone and plug in junkie comfort zone and do something that may open up a whole other world to you. You know, and I'm going to go through 3 reasons, 3 that you youngsters really should seriously consider getting and mastering. And I don't mean mastering. I mean really getting a good facility on how to edit for video. Okay? So, this is my good friend, Ruben Singleton. That's a single we worked on called Burn the Floor. It was remixed by a DJ Class. He's from Atlanta. Did pretty good on iTunes for him. You know, we worked on this a long time ago. And Ruben is a hardworking guy, sang background for Beyonce, Josh Groban, John Legend, a whole bunch of people, man. This guy has his resume reads like a who's who of the music industry. He's doing very well right now, and I am so proud of his accomplishments, man. He's a good friend and a professional colleague. And like I said, that's the single. You can check it out on iTunes. The title of it is Burn the Floor. And Ruben got it. Because here's reason number 1. Music is a visual medium. Like it or not. This is Ruben's channel with 1,000 subscribers. Look at his view count, folks. 1.17 million on 10 videos. Now, you youngsters that out there want to get into mixing and mastering, if you don't get it from a numerical perspective, you're just not going to get it. This is truth and fact in front of you. I have more subscribers than he does, with more video content than he does. He has 10 videos out there, and those 10 have garnered him a total of 1.1 million views. 1.1 million sets of eyeballs have seen this man. Now, his last video, well, the real one that blew up from was Congratulations. And again, I'm very proud of his accomplishment, but he understood that, and he was talking about this from a long time ago. We had this discussion. Listen, I got to do more video. Even if he had to, and he, mind you, he's self-produced and self-financed. Okay? With 1.1 million views. Now, as a kid, if I was coming up right now, I would want that as a vanity metric on my resume. That says something about my ability if I edited it for video, or even if I mixed and mastered it. That is proof positive of your ability to offer a buffet of services to your client that goes way beyond anything that Pookie and them down the street offer. So, to that point, I definitely would like to have, again, 1.17 million views. And believe me, I don't have that with 100-something videos that I've produced myself. I think maybe I have maybe 1/3 of that, 300,000 views. So reason number 1, music is a visual medium. You cannot separate one from the other. You can't. You know, so for those of you who want to do just mixing and mastering, let that be proof positive and reason number 1 to even consider consider that as a possibility. Now, you're going to get the argument from folks, well, I just want to do just this. And again, there's nothing wrong with doing just one thing if this is a hobby. But if you're trying to make money, a client may come to you with that request, and they may want that request fulfilled. What do you say if you can't? If you can't offer that as an option? You just lost that potential piece of business because you're limited in the services that you offer. And if you're trying to build a business, you want to put one thing on top of the other. Now, reason number 2. Everybody, Pookie and them down the street, Shanae, and everybody got one of these. Everybody. Everybody has a smartphone. All right? Here's some statistics based on fact. Mobile users age 18 to 34, now that's most of you youngsters out there, 105 minutes watching online videos. People in the ages of 35 to 49 spend at least an hour and a half. Users in my age group, we even consume nearly an hour of video. And those age 65 and over are not far behind. Again, you can argue with the facts all you want, but check back with me in 10 years. And I remember I had this conversation with a friend of mine back in about 2004. We were in Nashville, as a matter of fact. And I was like, hey, man, I was really giving some thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm really interested in doing more video post-production because I had read this article in the Inc. magazine that said that media from a visual perspective, this is 2004, mind you, from a visual perspective, is about to boom and blow up. 2004 is, 17 years ago? Here we are today. Now let's jump forward. You need more proof? Look at this pie chart, okay? This was asked by online music listening preferences, but what's the name of there? HubSpot. Anyway, it's an online marketing company, long story short. Now, they asked the question in a focus group environment, I would imagine, of how do you consume music? Folks, take a look at the pie chart. Tell me what the number one way people are consuming music right now. YouTube. YouTube is the number one way folks are consuming music. So if you are the guy and you're trying to differentiate your business from Pookie and them down the street because everybody and their brother with a laptop and Pro Tools is suddenly a engineer, if you're trying to say, well, I have competition from that perspective, how do I differentiate my business? What better way than to, now I said this a long time ago, than to learn how to use a camera, learn how to light for, professional circumstances, as well as learn how to video edit. And here it is. Here, let's look at the pie chart again. The numbers don't lie. You got people out there that's actually doing the work for you to look at, how folks are consuming their music and their content on a daily basis, And I know most people they may not want to go and look at or do any level of research that deep. But again, if you're trying to do this professionally, they say look deep before you leap. Again, I would rather get into the game with more bullets and offer more services at this point in time. Why? Because, like I said, the competition is stiff. Yeah, sure, Pro Tools has leveled the playing field in terms of you dealing with professional environment studios. You can make a record anywhere, just about. But again, if you're just getting into the game and you're pretty good and you have a pretty good facility with Pro Tools and you can mix very well in the with the tools that you have, at some point you're going to be faced with maybe more competition because everyone has access to the same tools and software. And if you're trying to grow a business, sometimes you have to venture off into, listen, there is no company, not Sony, not Warner Brothers, not any of the top entertainment companies that has not understood the word diversification. You know, I get that maybe that's all some of the kids want to do, mix and master, but you ain't gonna make it doing that alone. I'm just gonna be honest and frank and punch you in the neck right now and tell you, you're gonna be sitting in mama basement doing this for the rest of your life. And I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm trying to tell you how to keep the lights on. As a person who COVID has caused me to step back and take a broader look at a few things, you know, and as someone who has done this a very, very long time, no, I do not have walls of gold and platinum records. I chose to stay in the middle. It's called the pyramid. Pyramid. Everybody at the bottom passes through the middle. I chose to stay at the middle. I know plenty of people in this business who have made a lot of money, you know, and are doing quite well today. I just showed you one right there. You know, so if you're trying to be in it for the long haul, you have to develop a plan of action that's going to keep you in the game long. Could you imagine Michael Jordan in his prime showing up to camp year after year of out of shape? You know, talking about I'm trying to be at the top of my game, but you fat and you out of shape. All you do is eat burgers all summer. No, it takes a level of dedication and understanding that in order for me to maintain the ability to function at a higher level or to accomplish my goals, I have to have a clear plan of action. So what's wrong in the end if you're trying to make this a career? What's wrong with actually learning how to light for video? Learning how to edit video. That's giving you the competitive advantage. Because if two people have the same thing, then you start competing on price. You got a laptop, you got a laptop. You got Pro Tools, so do you. You're $50, he's $25. Oh, I'm going with $25. You're competing with price. And when you compete with price, it's a competition all the way to the floor. You ain't gonna make it because you're gonna have to lower your price to get that business. And then when you get a client that gets all strung out on low prices, that's the worst thing that can happen. Because once you have to raise your prices, they're going to bounce. And they're going to bounce because you just got them all strung out on low prices. You know, so you have to add value to your potential client for the future. There ain't no way I can take a job as a rock producer. That's not my thing. I cannot give value to that project. I can hire the right people to do it, the right players to do it, but to call myself a rock producer, no, that's not what I do on the regular. You know what I mean? So you got to carve out your little niche. You have to understand what you're offering your clients in the end in order to survive in this business. So we're going to jump forward to my final point. But before I get there, like I said, these are the facts, folks. Everybody consumes video through one of those, a smartphone. Everybody got one in their hand. And the numbers don't lie. When you got these marketing companies that are out there doing the statistical research for you. If you're smart and you follow the numbers, you follow the numbers. Facts don't lie. Facts are facts. They can be stubborn things, as they say. If you're a stubborn person and dumb enough to look at, a gift horse and ignore it, and there are people that I've come across that are just like dead set, and they're young people, dead set. And I'm not bashing young folk. No, I was young once upon a time also, but I was smart. You'll get comfortable, but you're going to be, those of you who are 30, let's talk in 10 years when you're 40. See how much financial progress you have made. Because after 40 comes 50. And if you haven't managed to understand how to continue to climb that mountain to support yourself financially with what you've been doing, either as a side hustle or as a full-time gig, if you haven't mastered it at that point, you're not going to make it. You got to diversify. You have to diversify. That's the only way to make it. You have to diversify. How do you think these artists that were shut down during Beyonce, for instance, Janet Jackson, people who rely on the touring dollar, how do you think they make their money in other means, other revenue streams? So if they understand it, what's wrong with y'all? You have to diversify. And that's what's kept me afloat these many years. I have had friends that have done major tours with major artists. I'm telling you that today they are bagging groceries or are older and have very, very little resources. Because you have to think down the line. You got to think down the line. How am I going to survive in this business? When you got the pyramid theory, everybody at the bottom passes through the middle. Passes through the middle. You might have relationships with those people, or they may just be transient in your life. But nevertheless, we all begin at zero. So let's take some questions really quick and see what a few of the comments have been. Excuse me. Touchstone DSG, I feel like other programs have caught up to them and in some cases passed them in like Studio One. No, that's true. Listen, it's like I remember someone saying that if you take two cars, a lightweight car like a Celica, a Toyota Celica, you put it up against a Dodge Viper. The Celica might get off the line in a drag strip quick and pull out ahead of the Viper. But because the Viper got a V10 engine on a quarter-mile drag strip, it's going to catch you at some point. And that's what's happened when you're talking about the quality of other programs versus Pro Tools. They got out of the gate early. You can't take nothing away from Avid. They've been in the game a long time. But sure, they ain't the only one who got smart engineers. I'm talking about, software engineers and mechanical engineers and electrical engineers. They're not the only one who are able to hire these bright, young MIT graduates. So you bring them the idea and say, hey, I want to make a program that's like that, but better than that, or can compete with that, and, to your point, yeah, sure, Studio One, I hear a lot of people raving about it, Trustee students as simple as how deep are your pockets? When it comes to certain things, if we're talking about this topic right now, you can pretty much, if you have deep enough pockets, you can pretty much get into and do just about anything. You know what I mean? If you got the money. But if you're trying to get to the mountaintop, you got to have a plan. And what I'm finding is that, and it's no shout. I mean, you have to have a goal that you want to attain by, and that's just me. I'm just, numbers and goal oriented. I need to attain this by that. I need to attain, if this happens, I need to be able to do that. But I'm finding out that a lot of people, and I told you about the kid that came and said, I want to study what you have so I can compete against you. I'm like, okay, if that's why you're here as a intern, then fine. You know, I doubt that you will be successful. Why? Because you need a plan. Your plan has to go beyond trying to copy what I do. You can't copy what I do. You know? And it's not because I'm just great. It's because that I have a particular way that I've run a business for a long time and understand the pitfalls as well as the benefits of doing certain things on a level that only time and experience can give you. So what I'm sharing today is saying, if you are not even considering video editing, you know, maybe you should. And maybe you should for this reason, you know? It's free. The transition into video costs you, as a person who's trying to get into this business, absolutely nothing. All you got to do is go to Blackmagic Design and pay, not even pay. Type in your information. Guess what? When they get your email, that's the way you paying. You know, they're going to start flooding you with every little detail about whatever. But nevertheless, it's free. And the transition for most smart engineers is natural. You know, the learning curve is very shallow. It's not different. It ain't no different from moving around vocals in same principles of cutting and pasting. The keyboard, you know, facility is maybe a bit different. But like any other learning curve, it's very short and it's costing you nothing. It ain't costing you a nickel to get a leg up on Pookie and them down the street. You ain't got to tell Pookie and them your business. As a matter of fact, don't tell Pookie and them your business. You know? Just hit the client over the head with one extra thing that you can do. What is it costing you to learn? You got the smartphone, right? Most of these iPhones shoot quality video nowadays. So you got the phone, all right, that's covered. You got sunlight, so you don't have to go out and buy lights. The only thing it's costing you is time. Time for you to learn something new. So that when you get the opportunity, you're prepared. You know, you're prepared. Because nothing is worse than being presented with, hey, can you do? And then the answer to that is no. And then turns out, Pookie and them down the street have been undercover doing what you said you wouldn't do. So to learn something new is costing me nothing more than time. That's all. It's a win-win, friend. It's one additional skill you can sell to your client. Video post-production services. Music is a visual and oral medium. We are at that point in time. More content was consumed through COVID probably than not. As a matter of fact, I think, here's a stat for you. More than 1 billion hours of video is consumed on YouTube every day. 1 billion. Think about that for a second. Let that sink in. And here's the boo. If you get a good facility with being able to use a camera, light, think about the additional services, the additional pieces of business you could get into in your own backyard. Okay? How many of y'all right now know somebody that bakes cakes? I know a couple. You don't think they don't use Facebook for promotion? You don't think they use Facebook pages for outreach to clients? Huh? Think again. Wouldn't you like to be the person that can offer your video services to them? You ain't got to go out and buy no fancy camera. Most of these cameras are shooting great. And right now, I'm telling you, the iPhone is catching up to a whole lot of people in terms of quality. Here's a little secret. As long as you have good light, The iPhone can compete. You know, the iPhone can compete. So wouldn't you like to be able to say, they come to you, hey, listen, I know we have never spoken before and we've been neighbors for a few years. Well, my cousin Susie makes cakes. And she said that she wants to do, a commercial, but she doesn't know how. All right? Here's a little kicker for you. How about you charge them $750 per finished minute of that commercial? Commercial's 3 minutes long. You got yourself a cool $22.50 just about. Suppose they come to you and say, well, all I have is $3,000 to shoot this commercial. You may have facility with using the camera, with using DaVinci or whatever. You could buy a old Canon T3. As long as you got light and you already know how to do the audio aspect, you're charging them, I think I could do it for about $23,000. That's a good budget. So you do it all in for $3,000. I can tell you one thing. You making more money than Pookie and them down the street. I can guarantee you that much. And this is a person who has worked on at least 2 or 3 films in his life. And I have had one person who was the executive producer tell me, and he was a billionaire that was financing this particular film. If you have any overages, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. Okay? The money in video is there. I mean, for crying out loud, Google will even pay you. Even pays you. It may not be great. Hey, but wouldn't you like to have a couple of $100 from Google every month? I mean, hey, listen, that couple of $100 they send me, that's grocery money. That's ice cream money for my daughter. When she want to go out and have ice cream or something, we want to have a little excursion or something like that. It's just that y'all got to start thinking about this thing more critically and seriously. If you're trying to not be a 40-year-old beat maker, that's whack. Trust me, I know 40-year-old people still trying to break into hip-hop. No. Nope. That's corny. You need to go and sit down. Everything's sagging on you at 40 and you trying to be cool. Now stop it. Knock it off. It's, you got to be goal-oriented. So if you're young now, why not add one more thing that you can do that's going to give you the competitive advantage for your future? I'm okay. I understood it a long time ago. When I got big gigs, I ain't bloated. And I know people that toured with some major artists. Ask them if they got that money today. I'm talking about headlining, Alicia Keys and them. Okay? Ask them if they got that 100,000, 150,000 that they was making on that tour. Ask them if they got that money today. I can guarantee you the answer is no. They blew through it. They were young and silly and they had a good time with the money. And it's nothing wrong. I made a lot of money when I was younger too, and I blew through sizable sums of money also. But when you have responsibility and you got to think long term, okay, you need to pump your brakes for a minute, invest a little, stick a little on the side, have an emergency fund. Yeah, it may sound corny, old school, but at the same time, when you 40 and you still trying to make beats talking about doom doom that, doom that, and people looking at you like, okay, it was cute when you were about 31, but now it's not so cute anymore. That's because you weren't goal oriented. So what's wrong with learning one more thing? I mean, it becomes tiring hearing some of the kids talk. I want to do mixing and mastering. Okay, what's your business? Mixing and mastering. Mixing. You think you could compete with the money that Mick Gazowski and all that make? No, you can't. You cannot. Because anytime someone has the budget to hire someone like Mick Gazowski or Tony Shepard or one of these top guys, they're going to say, okay, well, I got the money to get someone, who's a real deal to mix it. If they got a record company budget, which are very little, or an independent production contract budget, they ain't hiring you. You're on a little laptop sitting around being cute. That. You need to go and fix that situation. Because I'm telling you, at the top level, if the money is there, if the person finance is going to be like, nah, go hire Mick Gazowski. No, but promised, Pookie and them that once I made it, I'll give. Yeah, you want me to write that check? I want Mick Gazowski to mix this record. That's how that goes. The person signing the check dictates where that money is going. Don't fool yourself, okay? So let's look at some statements here. Electric Hour Works, what's up, man? George Thompson said, I was just doing an internship at a post. Hey, George. Let me tell you. I knew a youngster that he did live sound, but he worked at a post-production house in the I'll give you two examples. Two very good examples, as a matter of fact. He did live sound for his church. His day gig was doing post-production for I don't know, it was one of these cartoons on the Cartoon Network at one of the post houses downtown. They got a huge contract with the Cartoon Network. Kid's still working today. It's been at least 7 years now. Okay? So if that's any indication of where the money is in advertising. The money is in, video post-production, and less in music. And it's sad in some respects, but, you got to think outside of the box if you're trying to survive. Point one. Point two, I had a friend of mine, and he's been an inspiration to me. His name is Gerald Trotman. You probably heard me talk about him before. Gerald's like, he's salt of the earth, but he's a really nice guy. And every bit of success that Gerald has had in his career, I applaud it, man, because he's, again, been a huge musical inspiration to me in terms of professionalism, in terms of dealing with clients, in terms of, constantly having a desire to reach the next level. Anyway, there has not been one other person in my life that I could say that I've witnessed, other than maybe Ruben, I'll take maybe Ruben also, that I've witnessed have a steady trajectory of just straightaway success. And long time ago, Gerald and I, we were on the platform at Spring Street. We were coming from a rehearsal. We were in a band together. And he was like, you know what, man, what would really get me going in my career, I would like to eventually write for film. I was like, I want to write for film. And, had maybe a third or fourth level understanding of harmony. Very good facility from a theory perspective, and I saw the passion in his eyes. Long story short, Gerald for the last few years has been in Hollywood scoring for Pete the Cat, the cartoon. Okay? The money is in video. And the man has a family and 2 kids and a wife. His wife is a music therapist. But the money is in video. Smart people understand that. The paycheck is larger. Trust me, the paycheck is larger. Okay? You can eat for a little while. You can turn down work that you don't want to do for a little while with a video contract. Okay? Not so with music. If you're constantly hustling, trying to get a mixing and mastering job. If you're trying to mix or master for, give me an artist, Taylor Swift. That's your goal. I really want to work with her. I really want to work with Taylor Swift. Do you really think Taylor Swift going to hire you with your little laptop and Pro Tools and your little cute little basement outfit? Or bedroom outfit, rather? No, she's not. And the record company is not going to sign off on that. Even if you and she are the best of friends and you grew up in the same neighborhood. They're not going. They want it done well by someone who is a notable professional. And there's only one way to get there. You have to make sacrifices and think outside the box. You know what I mean? You got to continue to build your business, And if you're not trying to build your business, then it's a hobby. And there's nothing wrong with music being a hobby. But some of y'all need to stop with this one-track way of thinking. You will not make it. You won't make it. Okay? You wait till you have one of them times, and I've had a few of them, when it gets critical. Last year was critical. I'm just rebounding. When I tell you very close to the edge of the cliff, if I didn't have emergency money, it would have been easy for me to go over. Critical when I was young and stupid. And I've made a lot of six-figure money, made it in 1 year. Can lose a large sum of money and then say, me and my dumb self saying stupid stuff like, well, it's just money. It's just money when you got people you know that's going to look after you. But the minute that well dries up, ask me what I was doing. Sitting around like a crying dog, licking his wounds, wondering, how did I get here to the point where I'm that desperate to make ends meet? So I know what I'm talking about. I've been on the mountain. I've been in the valley. Most of the time in the valley from being stupid and dumb and not thinking in the moment or thinking that this gig is going to last forever. You know, you guys got to stop living in the moment. You got to think about your future. Because I'm telling you, ain't nobody trying to hear no 40-something-year-old man talking about he trying to be the next, Jay-Z. Even Jay-Z he's still the guy. He can walk back and he's like Prince. They can walk into the room and you bow down and hand him the mic any day of the week. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he knows that he has to diversify. His business is all over the place. So if the top people understand that diversification is the key to success, you at the very fundamental level need to stop talking about all I want to do is mix and master. There's nothing wrong with diversification. And for those of you just checking in, it ain't costing you nothing. To learn how to edit for video is costing you zero. Nothing more than your time. And some of you youngsters, with the way y'all play video games, you got nothing but time on your hand. Why not put another bullet in the chamber and be ready for the battle? So let's get to the comments real quick. I've been blabbing long enough. And Electric Owlwork says, we also have final, shooting video with an old, look at that, iPhone 6S, 1080-30, and we've been considering DaVinci Resolve as an option to add to. This is a work in pro, folks. George Thompson, all about transitioning. Yes, I told you about my son. Listen, my son was a ranked basketball player here in the city. Ranked. Run circles. He was not a recreational ball player. And he was recruited by Division I and II schools. But when he got to 5-star, and you had the cream of the cream coming from around the world, and he had to compete on that level, his words were like, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, what? You just came from... He's like, if this is how it's going to be, and he wasn't copping out. It was like the sacrifice that I'm going to have to make for everything doesn't line up with my long-term goal, Dad. I don't want to make that level of sacrifice just to play basketball. You got to think about the long term. Think about down there. It's about more than just the moment. You know what I mean? Because once you get to the top, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? If everybody's doing the same thing, you're going to have to make some sacrifices to stay at the top. Or you might as well just go home and realize that that's not, I'm going to have to buy a $2,000 mic just to remain competitive. Well, either you got the money to remain competitive or you don't. Either you have the services to offer a client or you don't. You have to make a sacrifice. You have to be willing to do that if you want to continue to climb this mountain, So, yeah, Shazam. What's up, man? Everybody's coming out of the woodworks today on me, man. That's good. Good to see you, brother. And George Thompson, and I know in Final Cut Pro X, I see a lot of pros in the world using, when it comes to video, it's just like audio. There's no difference in terms of the functionality. The function will remain the same. there may be slight varieties between one editor to the other. My point today is like, why not learn something for free? It's going to benefit you in the long haul. You know, that's my point. You know, 3 reasons. The numbers don't lie. I've lived the experience and I've seen it firsthand. You know, so, and I've worked with people who have benefited tremendously from video. So, why not? You know, why not? So, any further questions? I have been blabbing almost 1 hour. I will take a couple of off-topic questions. And if anyone is interested how I have been faring with the Orion, it's been all good. I wish that they would fix the interface in terms of how things are routed so that it reflects more of a patch bay circumstance, because I think a lot of people are getting lost in that respect. So I think I'm gonna share some things in the future. Not right now, but there's some changes I've been considering with Antelope. So we'll talk about that in a future live stream. Any further questions? Okay, so let's jump through and do a lightning round. This is my friend, good friend, Ruben Singleton, background singer for Beyonce, John Legend, Josh Groban, and a host of other folks. The left side is a single we worked on some time ago called Burn the Floor. That was mixed by Atlanta mix engineer DJ Class. Remixed, I should say. And the right side is his YouTube channel. Ruben has 1/3 less the subscribers I do, and 2/3 more views than I do. So this is proof positive that music is a visual medium. Go and check out Ruben's channel. Okay? I will put the links in the description so that you can go and peruse his videos. Very gifted, talented singer. And he's doing it. He's doing it. I'm sure his Google payments are pretty cute with that view count. The numbers don't lie, boys and girls. Okay? Mobile users ages 18 to 34. That's most of the youngsters I come in contact with. They spend an hour and some change watching online videos. Okay? People aged 35 to 49 spend approximately 79 minutes, and people in my age bracket of 50 through 64 watch at least nearly an hour. You want to sleep on those folks who you want to call senior citizens? Do not. Because guess what? They need video services as well, and they consume content as well to the tune of 24 minutes per week. This is current data, folks, done by a reputable marketing firm dated May 20th of this year. Okay? This is a fact. When they were asked, how do you consume music? The top way of consumption, look at this pie chart, okay, is through YouTube. So for those of y'all who want to just do music as a mixing and mastering thing only, you need to consider adding a visual representation and service to your rate card, period. Why? Because, folks, everybody has a smartphone. Everybody in every age group, as I've just shown you, is consuming video. And the number one way people come to YouTube for 2 things: education and entertainment. Okay? Education and entertainment. So you cannot dispute YouTube as being a force, especially when YouTube has nearly 1 billion hours of videos consumed each and every day. 1 billion. That's a lot. The final reason you should consider adding video editing to your repertoire is it ain't costing you nothing but time. The editor is free to download. DaVinci Resolve 17 is free. The only thing you're going to give up is maybe your email address. They'll keep you in the loop of updates, and it ain't costing you no more than time. I'll put the link for Blackmagic Design in the description. So there you have it. They say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Well, you've been forewarned. If I check back with you in 10 years and you still trying to do beats, I'm going to take my cane and, they bust you across your neck, put you out of your misery once and for all, because you need to diversify. So, okay. Eternity, have you thought of working on projects for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, or Apple? I have currently one project that I've worked on, I know is definitely on Hulu, Netflix. It's The Life and Times of, All Me is the title of the film. The Life and Times of Winfred Rimbert, of which I was both consultant for audio as well as provided video post services from a musical perspective. So that was a very good documentary, and I'm still getting some residuals from that. So yes, to answer your question. Have you thought of, okay, I got that one. When I worked for an ad agency, Premiere was, okay, all about transitioning. So there you have it. My 3 reasons for considering adding video editing to your repertoire. What you do with the information, I can provide it. What you do with it is a whole other ball of wax. Like I said, I've been in the game a while. I'm going to be all right. A brother is headed towards retirement, and I'm good. It gets down to how you play the game. You have ball players that play with Michael Jordan that are bankrupt. Then you got Michael Jordan, who's probably a billionaire right now. Okay, so it depends on how and what you do with the information you're given. The only thing I can do is share the experience, and what you do with it from this point forward is totally up to you. I don't see how learning something can hurt you. You can never have too much knowledge. You may not have a deep facility with getting around the program, but nevertheless, you'll be armed with the potential if a client asks you to do something for you. And like I said, nowadays, content is consumed on Facebook, on Instagram, Pinterest. My God, why not learn video? Why not charge a little bit more for something that's not costing you, nothing more than time to learn right now? That's what I don't get. You know what I mean? I'm a different animal, but hey man, what you do with the information is totally up to you. Okay. Attorney, can you please post that link? I would love to venture into my creative portfolio. Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. It was a video by director Vivian Ducat for Ducat Media. She was the director, and it's All Me: The Life and Times of Winfred Rimbert. Okay, so I will post the link. Hopefully, I'll check and see if it's on Hulu still. I know it's been on Netflix, but Netflix, you buy the content and then it's not evergreen. It doesn't stay with Netflix. They buy a license for a time, and then once the license expires, they pull it down. So most definitely we'll do that. Okay, and listen, this has been good. Share this information with someone who's an aspiring mixing and mastering engineer. If you got something from it, if it resonated with you, and I'm serious right now, if it resonated with you and you feel like you got something from it, drop me a line. I'd really like to know, because I don't want to be up here just blabbing and just, talking out my head. just to be talking. I want to be able to share information that I know is going to benefit someone. And like I said, these are lived experiences. So if you feel the need to go back and review the video, or, if you want to reach out, all the information is on my About tab on the channel. And if you want to have further dialogue about it, let's do it. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, Eternity, yes, most definitely, man. Let's thank you, Eternity, for stopping by. Thank you for popping in. Eternity, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. And to everyone who popped in today, don't forget to say hello to your families for me. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for watching.